welcome to the All Shows Nigerian channel, where I review Nollywood movies, series, and reality TV shows. Today I'll be reviewing one of the latest Nigerian Prime Video movies titled PALAVA, starring popular actresses and actors such as Iyabo Ojo, Richard Mofe Damijo aka RMD, Beverly Osu, Bisola Ayola, Mercy Aigbe, Omaomi, Segun Arinze, Beverly Naya, Chinedu Ikedieze, Jemima Osunde, and Linda Ejiofor. So the way this review will work is I'll take my time to summarize the story for those who may not have had a chance to watch the movie, and then in the end I'll give my take on overall ratings of the entire movie. So with that being said, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this review. So the movie starts off with the hype man on the stage of a music concert, prepping the crowd for the main show of a man named Osawanda. Osawanda is nowhere to be found when called to the stage for his performance, but we soon find out that it's because he is messing around with a lady in the back room. His manager and older daughter, who goes by the name Imade, is seen trying to get a hold of him via call on his whereabouts, but he isn't answering her calls. Eventually, she storms into his back room and walks in on him still carrying out his shenanigans with the lady. She's eventually able to get her father on stage, and the crowd goes wild for his performance on his very popular song called PALAVA. During his performance, his mystery woman from earlier walks onto the stage and interrupts his performance, as she starts dancing promiscuously with Osawanda on the stage alongside his backup dancers. Because of this stupid act, a fight ensues on stage between Osawanda and his hype man, which causes the concert to end abruptly and in a chaotic manner. Honestly, this part was a bit confusing because I didn't really understand why the fight really ensued. Yes, it was tacky and weird for the lady to hop on stage and be dancing with Osawanda when she wasn't even part of the dance group, but I feel like it could have easily been taken to the audience as part of the show. Like they would have easily thought that okay, she was part of the performance and stuff like that. And on the other hand, it could have also been that Osawanda's girl that he was hooking up with was also the girlfriend to the hype man. But if that was the case, it wasn't really communicated properly in the movie. For those that watched the movie, comment down below your thoughts on this scene and what you felt was actually going on, because it was a little bit confusing and as to what was going on and why it happened. And I feel like it didn't really need to be that much of an issue like they made it to be. But yeah, whatever. So anyways, after the scene, we're given a brief backstory of Osawanda and who he is. We learn that his full name is Osage Idehe and that he had always been a special child right from birth, because apparently his name was supposed to be Osage with an I, but due to a spelling error made by the nurse on his birth certificate, he was given the name Osage without an I, like with the omission of the letter I, so Osage. Anyway, so growing up, Osage did not allow this circumstance to break him, but rather he embodied it in a positive light and coined out the name Osa one of a kind for himself instead, which soon developed to his now stage name Osawanda. As much as he had a lot of highs in his career, it also came with a lot of lows as well. We soon learned that during the peak of his career years ago, he messed around with a lot of females, and one of them was the governor's daughter, which was a costly action of his as the governor made sure that Osage was blacklisted, thereby causing a huge fall in his music career for many years. But after so long, his song Palava Day had recently went viral due to a TikTok remix made and causing it to rise up in the charts once more, and now loved by a much younger generation that never knew him prior to now. Now in the present time, he was back as a living music legend, currently dominating the music industry, much bigger and better. In the next scene, we see preparations being made for Osawanda's upcoming 60th birthday bash in a few days. We also see that Osawanda's career is almost like a family business, as his family members are very much involved in his career. His daughter Imadi, as I stated earlier, was his manager. His second daughter, named Ini, is an architect of her own firm and one who manages and runs the finances of her father's brand. And the third born, named Charlie, was responsible for covering the ongoing documentary of her father's life and legacy. Charlie is seen trying to get Imadi to do an interview for the film, since she is the one that is most involved in the father's brand, and was also the primary factor responsible for her father's recent resurgence in the industry, and even quit her schooling at 24 to fully manage and work for her father as a full-time job. Unfortunately, Charlie's begging falls on deaf ears as Imade feels like she has bigger fish to fry. As she hurriedly heads out, Imade runs into a guy named Tima, who is a family lawyer and whom she is obviously attracted to. They both exchange pleasantries, and Tima informs Imade that he's running some errands for her father, and they are both soon joined by Charlie, and Imade uses the opportunity to introduce the two to each other, after which they also head out together to meet up with their dad and their other sister Ehi at her listening party that same afternoon. At the listening party, we see Ehi performing her song, even though no one is really paying her attention, as we see that all her crowd is literally flocking around her dad instead in an attempt to take pictures of him. Seeing that the crowd is obviously not paying attention to her, she willingly gives into the situation and allows her dad to make his own performance instead. Damn, that must, I don't know what kind of father or parent in general wants to outshine their child rather than support them in pursuing their dreams. In this scene, well, in all the scenes so far, Osawanda was coming off extremely self-absorbed, and I definitely wasn't here for it. Comment down below your thoughts on this. We see his fifth daughter, named Itoha, seen talking to her boyfriend named Malik about staging her kidnap in order to demand a ransom of 20 million naira from her father. Itoha isn't completely on board, but her boyfriend is soon able to talk her into going forward with the plan. Charlie, Imade, and Tima soon arrive at the venue, and Imade isn't too pleased with the fact that their father crashed Ehi's gig. He tries to explain to her that he was only trying to help, but Imade sees through it as she knows that her father is still fame drunk from his revived stardom. Ini soon joins them, and she and Imade soon try to have a conversation with their dad about his recent spending habits, but he avoids the conversation by leaving the setting to go pretend to listen to Ehi perform. The listening party soon comes to an end and everyone is heading out. Imade receives an anonymous video which seems to be going viral on the internet about her father. She soon shares it with her sisters and father, and in the video we see a lady who goes by the name Omabasi, claiming to have had Osage's only son named Osage Jr. The girls are taken aback by this news, but apparently Omabasi was an ex-assistant of Imade. While they are trying to discuss the recent developments, Mr. Ekwe, who is the CEO of the company Boss Cola that was currently trying to invest in Osawanda's music brand, calls about the video and how he was planning to pull out of the investment they had agreed on earlier in order not to tarnish his own brand. In an attempt to try and reason with him, Imade then lies and blots out that Omabasi and her dad were currently dating and that Omabasi had posted the video as a form of publicity stunt. What kind of publicity stunt is that? That's going to bring negative publicity. That's just stupid. But anyway, Mr. Ekpe urges her to handle the situation immediately and cut the call abruptly, leaving Imadi and her sisters shocked on what had just occurred. On the way home, Imade is literally scolding her dad on his recent chain of events. Osawanda apologizes for not telling her about the situation with their former staff, as he had thought he could handle it alone by bribing Omabasi with 10 million naira to keep her mouth shut. Imade is flabbergasted by her father's recklessness in his finances and breaks the news to him about telling their investor that Omabasi was his girlfriend. The two are not totally convinced that Omabasi would agree to play along with their plan, but they decide to give it a try later on regardless. In another car, we see Ehi and Ini driving home while discussing their family woes. Ini loses concentration at some point while driving and soon drives past a red light, which immediately leads to her being paced by a police vehicle. Eventually, she stops and gets into an argument with the officers, which soon lead to her and Ehi being handcuffed and taken to the police station. In the next scene, Osawanda's daughter Itoha is seen with her boyfriend meeting with a gangster or criminal named Big T. Big T is upset with them as they had been avoiding his calls. We soon find out that the both of them had been owing him a sum of 10 million naira, which they still were yet to pay. Malik and Itoha beg him to give them more time, and during the course of their negotiation and begging, Malik blots out that Itoha's father is Osawanda the celebrity, and that they had been plotting for a while now to stage a kidnap so that they could use the money gotten from the kidnap to pay what they owed Big T. Big T is pleased with the news and decides to aid in the kidnap process as well. Itoha and Malik try to talk him out of it, but he has clearly made his decision. And with that, Itoha and Malik are allowed to leave and are both devastated by what just occurred. In the next scene, Imade pays a visit to Omabasi, and she reveals to Oma that her impulsive actions were going to cost them the major $1 million deal that they had been waiting on with Boss Cola. Regretful of her actions, Oma asks if there is anything she could do to help the situation, and with that, Imade uses the opportunity to tell her to come by their house later to discuss their plans. As Imade is about to leave, she gets a call from the station about Ini and Ehi's arrest. She rushes over to the station and is able to use her influences to get them out. In the next scene, we see Hajara, the mother of Itoha and one of the wives of Osawanda, arrive, and Imade, Ini, and Charlie are definitely not on board with it. Imade asks Hajara to leave, but she is soon stopped by her dad, who informs them all that he invited her because he was finally going to grant her her divorce request. The news comes as a shock to everyone, and we soon find out that Hajara had left Osawanda years ago to be with his manager at the time named Bayo. Oma soon walks into the room with her baby, and this makes the entire dinner table more awkward. Tempers soon run high between Hajara and Oma, which soon makes Hajara leave the dining table. Osawanda rushes to try to stop her and they get into a conversation about their past. Osawanda informs her that he's just trying to make peace and let go of all his resentment he had towards her past years by letting her go, even though he still had feelings for her. Hajara ignores him and informs him that while she heads out that she will be sending the divorce papers first thing the next morning. Back at the dinner table, Oma is making her new position as a member of the family very clear to Osawanda's daughters, and tempers begin to run high again. Thankfully, Osawanda is able to come back and bring back sanity to the table, and with that, everyone leaves the dinner table angry. Oma and Auntie Ese, who is the sister of Osawanda, stay behind and they soon start strategizing to try and get Osawanda to marry Oma. In the next scene, Ini is skeptical on whether Oma's son is really the father. Ini is skeptical on whether Oma's son is really her father's child and suggests that they do a paternity test. Imade is not fully on board with it, but Ini assures her that she will handle everything regarding that. Imade is stressed with the whole family situation and is soon comforted by Tima. She opens up to him on her life and how much of her life and years she had sacrificed and wasted on her dad by cleaning up his mess. Sparks begin to fly between the two as they soon enjoy each other's company for the rest of the evening. In the next scene, Ehi speaks to her father about what he thought of her event. Osawanda apologizes for crashing her listening party and for taking the spotlight off her. Well, duh. And soon after, the two of them hug it out. In the next scene, Oma and Osawanda are seen taking pictures for Instagram and Twitter to publicize their fake relationship in the media, and in a matter of seconds, the both of them are already trending on all social media platforms. In the next scene, Auntie Ese is seen discussing with Osawanda while he's having breakfast. She tries to urge him to get married to Omabasi, as she feels like this first son in the family will be the family legacy. Osawanda tries to explain to her that his daughters are his legacy, and she's clearly not having it, as she feels like the male child is more of traditional importance in carrying the family name and heritage. Like, are you kidding me right now? What year are we in? Like 2023, and I still can't believe that stuff like this is still being argued about in Nigerian households. Gender discrimination is absolute rubbish, and a female child should be treated and acknowledged equally as a male child. It even annoys me more to see that she's even an actual female, but yet has this silly mindset on gender roles that were probably instilled in her at a very young age. And it just disgusts me, honestly, that I'm sure there's still people out there that still have the same mindset and thought process, which is just sad. Comment down below your thoughts on this topic. So anyways, Osawanda isn't on board with what his sister is saying, and he soon dismisses her and leaves the table for her. I know that's right, because what the hell? Rubbish. Anyways, in the next scene, we see Hajara talking to her boyfriend and former best friend of Osawanda, named Bayo. Bayo feels like Hajara still has feelings for Osawanda, but she immediately debunks the accusations. She assures Bayo that he is the man she wants to be with and that she can't wait to sign the divorce papers. She can't wait for Osawanda to sign the divorce papers so that she can finally live an honest and um, beautiful life or relationship with him, or have a honest life and relationship with him. In the next scene, we see Imadi having a conversation with her father about the deal they have with Boss Cola and how she had scheduled an impromptu meeting with them later that afternoon. Osawanda says he's not available as it's currently his birthday and he's also preparing for his concert later in the day as well. Imade remains unfazed by his excuses and her father soon gives in and agrees to be in attendance of the marketing whatever. I guess they have to go to like the markets or the public spaces to like advertise the Boss Cola company and all that. Maybe that's part of the contract, but we're not really given context to it. But anyways, Imade also makes it clear that after the deal is done with Boss Cola, she was going to quit being his assistant as she was over his BS. Osawanda tries to beg and apologize to her but it all falls on deaf ears as she has clearly made up her mind. In the next scene, we see Auntie Essie and Oma meeting up with a witch doctor named Iye Love for some love potions. Iye Love gives them or talks about her most powerful potion and swears by its effectiveness and long-lasting abilities. Oma and Auntie Essie are sold on it and are ready and willing to purchase the product immediately. And Iye Love asks for Oma's wedding certificate to Osawanda, which obviously she doesn't have because she isn't married to him. And with this, Iye Love decides not to help them because she only helps married couples and not homewreckers or prostitutes. I was like, Omo, I didn't know that witch doctors and herbalists or whatever now have moral standards to their witchcraft. And when like that part made me laugh, like it made me giggle and all that. So comment down below your thoughts on that scene because it was hilarious. So anyways, while Love is distracted at a corner seeking advice from her oracle on the matter, Auntie Essie urges Oma to steal the potion on the table, which she silently does. And once it is stolen, the two of them quietly leave without informing Love. In the next scene, Ini and Ehi are seen meeting with a doctor about the paternity test procedure. The doctor informs them that he can't help them without the consent or awareness of their dad or the father of the child. They're able to convince him to help them and he asks them to bring DNA samples of their dad and his alleged son. The doctor also informs them that it would take a week for the results to be out, unless they could also get Omabasi's DNA sample as well, for the results to be out as early as that same night. They agree on the second option as time isn't on their side and soon purchase the necessary kits needed for the samples. In the next scene, Itonha and Malik meet up with Big T to strategize their fake kidnap. First of all, can we talk about the setting? Because why is a grown man, an emphasis on grown, swinging on a ride in an amusement park? Okay, that was a little bit funny. Like, that was the funny part of the movie, and I'd love to hear your comments on it as well because it was so ridiculous and funny at the same time. But anyways, Big T suggests that they kidnap Osawanda, who is of higher value instead, in order to ensure the full success of their ransom payment. Itoha is clearly not on board with this idea but really has no say in it as Big T has made up his mind. In the next scene, we see Imadi and Osawanda in the market area advertising their music sponsor Boss Cola. Oma and Auntie Essie are also seen arriving the venue, and Oma sprays the potion on and goes on stage to join Osawanda. But it's very evident that it's very evident from his reaction that the potion isn't working. And after the event, Auntie Essie then urges her to put some of the potion into Osawanda's black soup for dinner as well, which she does obediently. In the next scene, Ehi is able to get a hold of the DNA samples from Omabasi by offering her some gum and getting her to spit it out. Ini also is able to get DNA samples from her dad's hairbrush. She's able to get some hair strands from the hairbrush, and soon after their mission is accomplished, they head to the clinic. Later on, Hajara arrives at Osawanda's home with the divorce papers and is soon invited by Osawanda to join the family for dinner. Hajara, Tima, Osawanda, and Charlie are soon seated down for dinner, and Osawanda is extremely happy with how his concert turned out, that he offers his specially made black soup to everyone on the dining table to try. They all take him on the offer, and the four of them eat the meal unaware of what's in it. Eventually, the potion starts to take effect, and Imade sees Osawanda and Hajara head into her father's bedroom. On the other hand, Tima is soon under the influence of the potion, and he starts confessing his love to Imade upon seeing her. Imade doesn't take him seriously, and as she is trying to get to the bottom of the situation, Charlie runs into them with a huge hug, which soon lands all of them in the pool. The spell seems to clear from their eyes after being in the pool, and they have no recollection of their actions prior. In the next scene, Itohan is seen having cold feet for their stage kidnap with her boyfriend Malik. Malik is able to convince her that they are doing the right thing and that the operation will go fine. Meanwhile, in the house, we see Oma Basi telling Auntie Ese that she's done with this family, and just wants to be paid her 15 million naira. Auntie Ese tries to convince Oma to rethink her decision, and Itohan overhears the conversation and relays it to Imade, who soon realizes why Charlie, Tima, Hajara, and her father were all acting strange. Itohan heads to her father's room and pours a bucket of water over his and Hajara's head, and they instantly awake and realize that they are both in bed with each other and had slept together. Itohan gets them up to speed on what had happened, and Hajara is very furious as she reaches for her bag and drops the divorce papers on Osawanda's laps to sign. He teases her for a bit and soon eventually signs the papers. In the next scene, it's finally the night of Osawanda's big birthday bash, and the vibes are immaculate. Imade welcomes the crowd, and soon after, the party kicks off. Osawanda is seen performing on stage, and soon after, we see Bayo storms the stage ready to fight. At another corner, we see Ini and Omabasi get into it, and soon after, a fight breaks between the two of them. Ini reveals to the family that the child was indeed their father's son, but Oma was not the mother of the child. Mr. Ekpe also makes it clear that he is pulling out of the deal and wanted nothing to do with this family ever again. And during this entire chaos, Big T fires a gun and gets all of their attention. Big T then reveals the plot by Itohan and Malik to kidnap Osawanda, and everyone is beyond shocked by this news. He then attempts to kidnap Mr. Ekpe, since he is worth more than Osawanda at this point, but Charlie makes it known that she had been recording each and every one of his moves, so if he didn't leave, she would expose him with the click of a button. Like, who does that? Why would she literally get in his face like that and reveal something like that? Doesn't that expose her and make her the obvious target to shoot first? That was such a stupid move on her part, and I'm surprised that he didn't blow her head off right there and then, in my opinion. Comment down below your thoughts. That was honestly a very foolish move on her part. But anyways, Imade stands up to Big T, and during the process, signals for Agberos to ambush him and his boys. Big T and his entourage soon surrender, and the party soon comes to an abrupt and tense end. In the next scene, Hajara and Osawanda are seen scolding Itohan for her actions. She then reveals that the reason for her scheming was because she and Malik had borrowed some money for an investment, which fell through. She then goes further to apologize, and her parents soon forgive her. Imade also informs them that Itohan had also confessed to her the day prior of what was going to go down, hence her backup plan and teaming up with the Agberos that they had gone to publicize the bus collar thing in their neighborhood. Like, the people that she went to, they had gone to the markets for like publicity stuff with the bus collar company, were the same people that she had called, like the Agberos in that area that she had called to also help them with this whole Big T situation. Yeah. So it is also soon revealed that Omabasi's nanny was the mother of the child that Oma was saying was hers, because Oma had given her the sperm of Osawanda to inject. Soon after, Oma arrives to the house still demanding her money, and Osawanda confronts her on the recent revelation made by the nanny. And Oma obviously doesn't care at this point, and regardless wants her money. Auntie Ese soon joins the situation and conversation and brings her fellow Edo women to beat up Omabasi. I get that Auntie Ese is a member of the family and the family sticks together through thick and thin, But if we're being honest, she had a major role to play in the juju business as well, if not more than Omabasi herself, because she was literally the one that took her to the witch doctor, told her to steal the potion, and was also the mastermind in telling her to put the potion into Osawanda's meal. So I don't understand why Omabasi got the full brunt of the situation when the blame should have at least been equally shared between her and Auntie Ese. Comment down below your thoughts on this, anyways. Meanwhile, inside the house, Charlie receives an email from a friend of hers that works for a well known streaming platform in Nigeria that is willing to make a deal with Osawanda and his brand for twice the price that their broken deal with Mr. Ekpe was. The entire family is thrilled by this news and they celebrate it as one big happy family. In the end, Osawanda ends up embarking on a worldwide tour. Imade quits being her father's manager and starts dating Tima. Ini takes over the role of managing her father. Ehi finally ends up having a successful music career. Itoha moves back with her mother Hajara, who finally got married to Bayo, who was a former best friend and PA of the father. And Charlie lands a deal to turn her father's documentary into a full TV series. And with that, the movie finally comes to a happy end. Alright, so here are my thoughts. Aside from all the comedy and vibes upon vibes that the movie embodied and showcased, I honestly feel like the movie still lacked depth, clarity, and vision. Like, how did Charlie not even know that the family lawyer was Tima until Imade introduced the two? And I also feel like there were some scenes that were, it felt like there was a lot going on at the time, so it was really hard to focus on what was actually going on in general in those particular scenes. I would also have loved if they gave us a backstory of the former wives of Osawanda, that is Imade, Ini, Ehi, and Charlie's moms, aside Hajara, who was Itoha's mom, because it kind of seemed like the other wives didn't even exist, and it was only Hajara that he married. But they already told us in the beginning that he had multiple wives, hence multiple children of different mothers. Like, yeah, I feel like they could have just given us a backstory on the other wives, Sha, and all that, or at least mentioned them in more context. Also, honestly, I thought we're past the whole Nollywood era of just making movies for laughs with no concrete storyline or concept. I feel like they thought that the tomfoolery of the movie and the ridiculousness and the fun, the comedy or whatever will cover up for the lack of creativity and underdevelopment of this movie. But unfortunately for them, the bad movie concept showcased, and yeah, I don't think the entertaining side of the movie was able to like cover up the bad concept of the movie. It also kind of felt like a sort of low budget cheap daddy movie, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I feel like there was a lot of similarities with the movie Cheap Daddy. Like, this movie had a lot of similarities with Cheap Daddy, and yeah, that was also like weird. Like, I feel like they could have given this movie more originality rather than like make it look like a movie that copied another movie type of thing. I don't know, that's just my opinion. And it was almost like they just packed like well-known actors in this movie for publicity without actually thinking much about their roles. That was something else that I noticed. Like, there were so many well-known actors, but I feel like it didn't really, again, that didn't really cover up or like make up for the bad concepts of the movie in general, like the movie concepts failing in general. Overall, I'll be rating this movie a 5.5 out of 10. It was funny, light, dramatic, yes, but I feel like overall it lacks some level of creativity and clarity. There's a lot of things going on, and it was really hard to focus on one thing going on before being distracted with something else going on in the background. Like, there should be a balance between entertainment, a well thought through movie, and also being clearly conceptualized. And unfortunately, the producers of this movie failed to deliver on the second and third factors. Comment down below your thoughts on what you guys liked and disliked about this movie overall. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you get notified every single time your girl posts a new review or video. Take care, and I'll see you guys in my next one. I hope you guys like the new format of how I'm trying to like review the movies now. Like, I'm trying to actually add snippets. So also comment down below if you guys would prefer me adding like snips of pictures of the movie, or like just the previous way I reviewed of like just my audio and like general graphic design or whatever. But yeah, comment down below on whether you guys like this new outlook of how I review my movies and shows. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and have a nice week, weekend, evening. Okay, now I'm going on and on about nothing, but yeah, you get the vibe. All right, see you guys in the next one. Bye.